Well, first of all, I want to wish all of you a very happy new year on this, the first Sunday of 2010. Yesterday I came across a cartoon in the Kitchener Record that I think sums up the way many of us feel about leaving 2009. I don't know if you can read that. It says, before I go, is there anything else I can help you with? 2009. 2010 says, you've done enough already. 2009 was a difficult year for many Canadians. This week I was at the Y, and I was talking with a friend who's in the spin class with me, and just basically I said, Happy New Year. It was like the last day before New Year's, and he said, man, I can't wait until 2010. And so through conversation he informed me that 2009, he's in commercial realty, and 2009 was the toughest year that he's ever seen in his industry, in his business. Many businesses closed in 2009. Worldwide, tens of thousands of people lost their jobs. Many people lost their homes, some people in this community. And I'm glad as a church that last month, in December alone, we were able to raise £500 and contribute $500 to the Cambridge Self-Help Food Bank, because you can be sure that it's going to go a long ways to helping our neighbors in the community. The numbers of people using the food bank this year are higher than they've ever been. Now I know that New Year's is greeted differently by different people. For some people it's like no big deal, right? I mean, all we've done is we've turned a page on a calendar. A few days ago it was December. Now it's January. A few days ago it was 2009. Now it's 2010. What's the big whoop, right? Nevertheless, for millions of Canadians, the majority perhaps, each new year represents like a clean slate, a fresh start, a new beginning. It's a time for us to take inventory of our lives and to make course adjustments if necessary, and those typically take the form of what we call New Year's resolutions. How many of you make New Year's resolutions? Raise your hands. All right, how many of you refuse to make New Year's resolutions? Raise your hands. Wow, you are a stubborn bunch. Now, I'm a big proponent of New Year's resolutions, and I'll tell you why. For me, New Year's reminds me that life is short, and so I better use my time wisely. Life is short, and so we better use our time wisely. And this was something that was driven home for me just this Christmas season. One of the highlights of my holidays was going to the 40th wedding anniversary of some dear friends of mine. I got to know this couple when I was a student pastor in Alliston in 1993. All right, so that's like 16 years ago, and we've kept in touch ever since. And they had their 40th wedding anniversary over the holidays, and they invited Barb and I to be part of that. And the anniversary itself was meaningful. Their 3 daughters had gone above and beyond the call of duty to add special touches wherever they could. Their church family had stepped up. In fact, the anniversary was held in the basement of that church, and they had a meal that was catered in by a restaurant, and everybody sat at these tables. Picture a church basement with all these tables, and there must have been like 120 people or more in that church basement. And I happened to be sitting at a table with 4 families that I knew as a pastor. Some of them had served on council when I was there in 1993. And obviously, since it had been 16 years since we'd seen each other, a lot of our conversation was centered around, what's happened in your life these past 16 years. And I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to see people, a group of people, like not relatives, but to see a group of people you haven't seen in like 16 years. Because it's something else. It's really remarkable. And later, as I was driving home from Alliston, it hit me. 16 years is like a fifth of 80, which is about the average life expectancy. So about a fifth of my life had passed since I saw those people. A fifth of everybody's life had passed at that anniversary since we'd been together last. And in some ways, everyone's lives had changed so much. Children had been born, got married, and so forth. But in other ways, things had changed so little. And one thing that didn't change, as far as I could see as a guest in that church, was life in that church. And that bothered me. Because I don't think that you should be able to walk into a room after 16 years and have everything look the same and feel the same and run the same. It just isn't right. It doesn't seem right to me. Like I said, life is short, and we need to use our time wisely, River City, and we need to use our time wisely as individuals as well. Well, it took me quite a while to settle on a scripture text for today's talk. But finally, it came to me like yesterday, late in the day. And I think there was a reason that it was hard for me to come to, because I think that the text that I was given is the exact text for the first Sunday of 2010. I can't think of any passage in the Bible that I'd want to share with you more today than Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 20.